Hello learners, welcome to my YouTube channel baetta.bangladesh to get the latest videos on ELT, TESOL, TEFL, Linguistics and Applied Linguistics programs. This is Emil, Chairman IELT and Head of Linguistics Baetta Bangladesh with Introduction to ELT and Linguistics course Part 1C, Nature and Feature of English Language and English Language Teaching. In my English teaching, I always maintain international standard of pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar, and accentuations. Learn English, buy English, keep watching my English medium videos. In my previous video, you have learned about definition, etymology, and 18 major characteristics of language. In this video, you will learn about nature, feature, core issues, and major aspects of English language and English language teaching ELT. So this video is very important and helpful for you. Let's get started. Introduction. It is very important for a language teacher to know the nature of English language and English language teaching as well as the way it is to learn. A teacher of English having the knowledge of nature of language understands that language is a system and not a collection of words. He knows that learning English means learning its speech sounds, words and structures. With this, he gives the due importance to teaching of all these basics of language. The nature of teaching. In its broadest sense, teaching is a process that facilitates learning. Teaching is the specialized application of knowledge and skills. It attributes to design and provide unique service to meet the educational needs of the individual and of the society. Nature of English language and English language teaching. Effective teaching of a language will depend on proper understanding of the nature of language and how it is learned. The only satisfactory approach to the teaching of a foreign language like English is the one based on the nature of language. English language teaching during the last few decades has been greatly influenced by our understanding of the nature of language. The finding that language is a system has led to selection and grading of structures and vocabulary. The fact that language is primarily speech has underlined the importance of oral work in classroom teaching. The realization that language changes has resulted in teaching descriptive rather than prescriptive grammar. Learning a language is one thing and learning about the language is quite another. As such, the knowledge of nature of language is learned through drill, practice and repetition and not through rules. We know that all skills are based on knowledge, and a skill of language has often been described as knowledge put to active use. An English teacher having the knowledge of nature of language doesn't waste his time or that of his students in teaching rules of grammar. He organizes basic structure of English. As a result, his students have greater mastery over English. Nature of English language teaching helps all language teachers and students in teaching learning language. The knowledge of nature of language teaching also tells an English teacher that language is an arbitrary system. With such knowledge of nature of language, the English teacher teaches English as the educated native speakers of English use it now, not as they ought to use it. Kitson says what emphasis should be laid on oral work to be done in the classrooms. Book work introduces activity. With this knowledge, he adopts the audiolingual approach to teaching English. He doesn't hurry for the reading skill. He provides his students practice in listening and speaking English. He gives new material in spoken for his students come across it in reading. As the students first learn to speak English well, they read and write it well later. A teacher of English having the knowledge of nature of English language understands that language is a system and not a collection of words. He knows that learning English means learning its speech, sounds, words and structures. With this, he gives due importance to teaching of all these basics of language. Pupils who have been taught through translation method often try to follow the same structure in English. Two languages differ in structure. As such, the knowledge of nature of language helps an English teacher in avoiding the use of literal translation while teaching English. He knows that every language is the product and relation of a society and culture. It has meaning only when it has strong link to that society and culture. Therefore, no two languages have exactly equal words or way of arranging words together. An English teacher having this knowledge about the nature of language teaches the meaning of new words in the situation in which they are used and not by literal translation. Key concepts and major aspects on the nature of ELT. Fluency and accuracy are two key issues in teaching learning English language. The term fluency has acquired two rather different meanings in ELT. The first is similar to a typical dictionary entry. For example, fluent is defined by Chamber Concise Dictionary as able to speak and write a particular language competently and with ease. In this meaning, it is normally restricted to language production, and in ELT it is normally reserved for speech. It is the ability to link units of speeches together with facility and without strain or inappropriate slowness or undue hesitation. Philipson 1984 includes fluency as a component of communicative competence and defined it as the speaker's ability to make use of whatever linguistic and pragmatic competence they have. He distinguishes three types of fluency. Number one, semantic fluency, linking together propositions and speech acts, also known as coherence. Number two, lexical syntactic fluency, linking together syntactic constituents and words. Number three, articulatory fluency, linking together speech segments. Non-fluency in an English language learner is discernible in frequent pauses, repetitions, and self-corrections, as in this exact from the speech of an elementary learner, like I enjoy, yeah, I enjoyed, yeah, I am enjoying this, and so on. This learner is beginning to compensate for this non-fluency by using the pillars you know, you see, I mean, I say, etc. in the pauses while he deals with the linguistic uncertainty. It is noticeable too that he uses the communication strategy of paraphrase when he fails to produce, improve, and say, make better instead to increase his fluency. This first meaning of fluency relates to competence in the learner. Course books often contain fluency drills at increasing the learner's ability to link syntactic segments with ease. For example, the teacher would set up a same drill and provide each student with a different prompt in turn, which they would have to insert in the correct position syntactically, as in teacher, last night, students, I went to the theater last night. Teacher, my aunt's house. Student, I went to my aunt's house last night. Teacher, visited. Student, I visited my aunt's house last night. Teacher, yesterday. Student, I went there yesterday, and so on. A second meaning of fluency has developed in relation to the goals of ELT and the nature of classroom activity. Brumfield 1984 argues from a definition of fluency as natural language use and defines the aim of the fluency activity in the classroom as to develop a pattern of language interaction within the classroom which is as close as possible to that used by competent performers in the mother tongue in normal life. He lists a set of criteria necessary for achieving fluency activity. These have been simultaneously developed and expanded by a number of other writers and can be summarized as follows. Number 1, the language should be a means to an end, that is, the focus should be on the meaning, that not on the form. Number 2, the content should be determined by the learner who is speaking or writing. Number 3, there must be a negotiation of meaning between the speakers, that is, the learners must be involved in interpreting a meaning from what they hear and what to say, not reliant on the teacher or textbook to provide the language. Number 4, the normal process of listening, reading, writing and speaking, etc. will be in play, that is, improvising and paraphrasing in speech. Number 5, teacher's intervention to correct should be minimal, as this distracts from the masses. In Brumfield's view, fluency activities will give students the opportunity to produce and understand items of language which they learn in form-focused work of accuracy. It is significant that his definition of fluency covers all of the language skills. His suggestions for creating natural language use in the classroom include creative writing class libraries, and project work, etc. Thank you.